Memories of the 1960s. George Duncan. My first memory of the beach ballroom was from about 1964 when I was a 12-year-old grammar school pupil, and I went along there one Saturday night. I was fascinated by the live music performed and produced by the resident musicians such as the Johnny Scott Band, and later the Derek Sanderson Sound. My friends and I continued going to the ballroom, and I think it was there that I first became hooked on wanting to be a musician. At that time the resident vocalists were the legendary Tucker Donald and Lisa. The vocalists would sit on chairs whilst they waited to be called to perform a song. The one I remember most from that time was Tucker and his rendition of 16 Candles, originally done by the Crests, an American doo-wop group. As a tribute to Tucker Donald, George produced a new recording of 16 Candles featuring all of Tucker's Aberdeen contemporaries, as well as his own songs Deborah and What Did I Do Wrong. During the 1960s, many famous groups performed at the ballroom, normally on a Saturday night. I was lucky enough to see The Who, Cream, The Kinks, Zoot Money, and Geno Washington, to name but a few. One act that I remember in particular was Johnny Kidd and the Pirates of Shakin' All Over Fame. The beach stage had just been refurbished with a new floor, which the manager was very proud of. Johnny Kidd appeared and immediately sank a cutlass into the stage floor several times, which was part of his act. Needless to say, they were never invited back. The beach was also a great venue for Aberdeen's local groups of that era. The Fassels, Tommy Dean and the Tremors, the Beathones, the Throb, the Rhubarb, and the Royal Teens, to name but a few, all played there. By this time I think I had decided that this was what I wanted to do, and as my brother had by this time left home to join the RAE, I had the perfect opportunity. He left behind his acoustic guitar, and so I bought the Burt Whedon guitar book, Play in a Day, to teach myself how to play this musical instrument. I studied chord windows by using this instruction manual, and so I basically taught myself how to play the guitar. By the time he returned 3 years later, I was playing in my first group, Life and Soul. Later I was also to play with bands such as the Playboys and City Lights. It wasn't until 1986 that I first performed on the beach ballroom stage, and this was the first in a series of annual fundraising events. These shows are still a great success, the most recent being the Aberdeen Legends show, which began in 2008. It features Ali Dawson, Tommy Dean, Sandy Davidson, Eddie Corbett and me, George Duncan. We get together especially to do these shows, and hopefully we will carry on the tradition. During 2008, I also recorded I Wish They Were Still Here Today, a song about many of the beach ballroom's favorite performers. A year later, in 2009, I received a telephone call from Daniel O'Donnell. It transpired that one of his fans had sent him a copy of this, and he was calling me to say it was a very nice song and I'd made a good job of it. He then went on to say that he'd had some good times whilst performing at the beach, and thought it was a fabulous venue, and he'd even recorded a live DVD there a few years previously. In 2010 the beach ballroom celebrated its 80th year. It prompted me to write a song, The Last Dance, which is a nostalgic look at the beach from the early days to the present. Many Aberdeen couples met there, so it holds fond memories for a lot of people, and I think the song captures the mood. I believe. Memories of the 1960s. George Duncan.